I was surrounded by so many people and you could just see what was going on, which was just really eye-opening. Like, this stuff happens, this is real. I was at a point where they were running out of veins to find, because I was having blood tests every day and my arms were becoming sore. And I remember that year it was very hot. I was asking things like, am I going to die? What's the infection? What medication am I on? How long will I be here? What is going on? And then I remember on ward round, they were saying, yeah, it's growing back, so we may have to operate on you. And then I think a few days later, the surgeons came back and they got me to sign this consent form saying, right, we're gonna have to operate on you now. And I was like, what the heck? I was like, I've got no family, I've got no one to speak to. What is going on? I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna have to go for this surgery again. I had to cancel all the things I was doing in my life, like the volunteering, my work, the gym, and I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep. Like, I was just sleeping actually, I was just sleeping the whole time. I couldn't eat, I couldn't drink, and anything that went down me, I was just vomiting it back up. I remember another doctor coming to see me and they were trying to ask me what happened and what was going on, and I couldn't talk. And because I couldn't talk and say how I felt, I was just crying the whole time, and I was just really down. And my eyes were hardly open because I wasn't drinking or eating. I was just so weak. So I had a CT scan or an MRI scan, I can't remember which one it was. And then that's when they found an abscess growing in my brain. And they were saying the abscess is 2 inches big, and another one was growing next to it. So they had to take me to have surgery straight away. So this is your gown, you need to put it on. I was like, okay.
So you didn't have time to...
Yeah, I was just like, okay, this is what this... I just went with the flow. I was like, okay, this is what's gonna happen. And I just remember being surrounded by like probably 7 surgeons or nurses, I don't know what they were, and they were all dressed in blue. And then I remember my mum was standing there and she said, oh, how much are you going to take off? And I was like, well, what are you on about? And they're like, oh, quite a bit. And I was like, what are you going to do? And they're like, oh, I'm going to just shave your hair off. I was in no shock mode. I was it was almost like I passed this shock mode and I was kind of like, yeah, I've accepted it, what was going on. I was in hospital for 2 months after that. At one point, because I was having scans, they said the abscess had come back, so they were trying to fight it off with the antibiotics. So I had antibiotics going through every day. I think it was 3 times a day. And then I was on anti-epileptic medication, and then I was on was it warfarin? I think I was on warfarin, so they had to inject me in the stomach because I wasn't walking around much, so they had to thin my blood out, just in case of any blood clots and stuff. I had another scan, and I remember going into the MRI scan and I was praying so much, and I was just being positive the whole time. And I remember going in there, and then after the scan I came out and I see my sisters out there, and they had like smiles on their face, and I was like, what's going on? Why are they happy? And then they were like, oh, the doctors just told us you don't have to have it. And I was like, oh, okay. They're like, yeah, the surgeon came and told us, but you said that we can tell you. And I was like, oh, I felt so much relief afterwards. I was like, finally, I don't have to go through this again. They don't have to open me up, open my skull up again, and shave my hair off because it was starting to grow back. I don't know what happened at that point, but I just feel so grateful that I didn't have to go through it again.
What do you think happened?
I don't know. A power of the mind. I think the way I was thinking, maybe. I was trying to stay so positive at that point, and I was very positive, and I'd always been making jokes as well. When I was in hospital, they did not know how I got ill. They did not know how I got the abscess. I had literally every scan. I had everything checked, and there was no sign of how I got an abscess in my brain. They did explain that it could have been a flu-like symptom, and the virus or bacteria travelled to my brain and formed in the brain area. Simple as a flu, yeah. And it's like, that's crazy. Yeah, I think I did change as a person. I became more strong-minded. I was easier. I could make decisions a lot more easier than I did before, whereas before I was very indecisive. And I was focusing on things that other people were focusing on, and I wasn't focusing on what I needed to focus on, so I needed to look into that a bit more. So I needed to look at myself more, which I did, just because I was off work for a long time, so I needed to look at my emotions and what were going on. So I needed to like clear all of that out, like feel things, feel how I was feeling, don't kind of brush it under the carpet. So I just felt like how I was feeling, I needed to do what I needed to do. I got a lot out of my system, and I just cleared all the negativity that was going on in my life at that point. Even like when I had my hair shaved off, like I felt proud of that. Like it didn't affect me how I looked, and I really felt like how I felt was more important than how I looked. That whole thing, the whole ego thing, just was not there. Like it was just simply me, and just focusing on what was actually important. Felt a bit more confident afterwards. Yeah, I felt a lot more confident. I wasn't afraid of anything afterwards. I felt like something had awoken me at that point. I don't know what it was. I'm still trying to figure out what it is actually. I need to meditate on that, because I've not had time to meditate lately for a long time, and I feel like I need that bit of space. But something did shift. So a widening and opening, something happened. So yeah, and I felt like I got to know myself at that point too, because I was so involved in other. During, yeah, and before I was, yeah, I changed a lot afterwards. I cut off a lot of people that I didn't need in my life, like friends, relationships, and I just spent a lot more time by myself, and I just got to know myself too, because I just felt so grateful to be alive. To learn to love yourself, I think. Yeah, because I didn't love myself at all, and I feel like once you do love yourself, then good things and positive things will start happening around you. And I learned a lot about forgiveness as well. I think I had to forgive myself a lot about what happened beforehand. There were things I don't really want to talk about, but yeah, a lot of things did happen, and I used to hate myself a lot, and I couldn't forgive myself and other people. So I did a lot of journaling. I've written loads and loads of stuff down about how I felt, and then towards the end it was like a catalyst, and I just thought, wow, I just felt so much better. And then after the end, after I'd finished writing about how I felt, I started to write about how I'd forgiven other people, but and myself, and what I wanted, and that was such a good feeling. Like I've still got it back at home on my laptop, all those feelings and stuff, and I feel like I'm ready to like kind of burn that stuff now. Like it's done and dusted with. So yeah, I learned so much about patience as well. I wasn't like, I need to get home, I got this to do, I got that to do. I just stayed there and I sat with myself, and I absorbed everything that was going on, and I felt how I felt, and it was amazing, because if you don't, it's going to come back and get you somehow. And that was the best thing. I think that I learned a lot, just how to feel really. It's about looking at yourself in the mirror, talking to yourself in the mirror. It's about how you feel about yourself too, and how you accept yourself. How can I put this? And not being too harsh on yourself, not being too critical about yourself too. I was very critical about myself. I put myself down a lot. I felt like I wasn't good enough, that I wasn't worthy, and I felt like after that I just felt so much more better. I felt like, do you know what, something's giving me a second chance now. Maybe I should look at myself and think why. And then when I looked at myself in terms of why, I just felt like maybe this is why you need to look at yourself. And then I came across these different things and I did a lot of reading online too, about how you should love yourself and how you should just talk to yourself, and to say nice things about yourself. Just be nice to yourself. Don't be so harsh on yourself, because at the end of the day, you have to be your own best friend. No one else is going to be there for you. And when you're at a time when you're alone, who's going to be there for you? No one. Just be yourself. So you need to talk to yourself and have that inner dialogue with yourself where you can have that friendship. And I felt like I found that. And I feel like I'm still working with it too. Like I wasn't very confident, so like going on holidays and things like that, or like going into town, like just simple things like going to the town or going to the shop or going to buy clothes for yourself. I needed someone to be there for me. I had too much dependence on someone else, and I felt like that needs to go. I can't have that attachment with anyone else. That attachment needs to be gone. It just needs to be you, and I can just simply go by myself and do things. I don't need to hold anyone's hand. To like say, yes, Neelam, you can do this. It's like, no, I can tell myself, like, I have my own permission. I don't need anyone else's permission to do things. And I feel like if I've been through that much pain and what I've been through, I can do anything now. Like I feel limitless almost. When you're on a journey where you're going through a hard time and you get to the point where it's the hardest, and it's at the point where you feel like you want to give up, that's the point where you need to still carry on and continue and just break through it, because then that's where you'll reach your goal, your plan, wherever you want to be. So I feel like that's in my mindset. I need to keep that in my mind and just continue. And I felt like, because I trusted like my journey out there, I feel like it's going to happen for me in Australia. If I feel that trust and the trust, the universe, like it will just continue to be there. So I feel like I've got no fears or doubts. Trust your journey, and trust yourself. I think just follow your good instinct. I think. If you want something, believe in it. Believe in it. Don't put any doubt to it. Don't acquire it with any doubt or just hope. Hope's not a good word. It's have faith. Have faith in it. Have faith in it. Yeah, I think hope's like a maybe. Hope and maybe is a very similar word. Don't put hope on anything. Put faith in what you want and what you believe in. It makes a big difference. I don't feel like people should regret anything, because I feel like everything is there for a purpose, and everything's there for a purpose. There's no like, you shouldn't look back and think, oh, I wish I did this, I wish I did that. You were meant to do it. I feel like your whole path is written out for you when you come to this world. I just feel like there's no regrets. Like if you feel like you've regret the situation and you have the chance to go back to make a change or an amendment, go and do it. There's nothing holding you back.
So do you believe in second chances?
Yes, I do, because I feel like I've been given a second chance. Like I either could have died or I wouldn't be where I am now. So I feel like something has given me a second chance. Something or someone or the higher existence is looking after me. And saying, Neelam, you're not done yet, you need to carry on and do what you're doing, because you've got so much more to do in life. You're still young, you've got loads to see, loads to do, make a change, make a difference. I don't know. I feel like anything that needed to be resolved was back when I had surgery, and that just happened naturally. Maybe, I don't think it would be like one thing. It'd be just learn to accept yourself. I think that's where a lot of the negativity evolves from. It's from within yourself. That's where it stems from. So I feel like that's the most important thing. That's from my experience. I feel like if you love yourself, you just start to kind of blossom out, and it will just kind of evolve around you. I just feel like you just need to accept yourself, I think, and accept what's going on. Don't hide. Just face the truth. Maybe that's not good advice, I don't know. It really just depends. Or just stay positive, I guess. Just stay positive wherever you are and just trust your gut instinct, because your gut instinct is always going to tell you the truth. Nothing else, no one else. No signs or anything, it's just you. I think that's what a lot of people don't do. A lot of people don't trust themselves and like themselves. I think liking themselves is the first stage, and then eventually you begin to love yourself. So yeah. How do I explain it? Like who I am now is me because of what I've been through. But when you want to know the real, like where it's actually come from, that's where it's come from. Like from my surgery, that's where it evolved from. Yeah. So if you want to know the real meaning, that's where it is. That's where the story begins.